Hey, Winners, Kevin Ward here. I wanted to respond to an email from one of you guys that I thought would be helpful in understanding what you do to make money. Because I remember I teach you there are four income producing activities. Number one is prospecting. Number two is lead follow-up. Number three is going on qualified appointments. And number four is negotiating contracts. Now, I want to have a clarification because in regard to the fourth one of those, negotiating contracts. Negotiating contracts is where you are representing your seller or your buyer in negotiating the terms of a contract to get it to closing. Now, it can also be negotiating the terms of a listing between you and the sellers in terms of getting a listing, because a listing is a contract as well. What negotiating contracts is not transaction coordinating. It is not being an assistant. You see, the reality is if you don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. But don't confuse administrative work with income producing work. And when you're talking about scheduling inspections, racing around looking for initials, delivering paperwork, delivering keys, those are not negotiating contracts. Those are administrative tasks that you could hire somebody to do for $10 to $12 an hour. So here's the question. Could I hire somebody to do this for me for $12 an hour? And if you could hire somebody to do it for you for $12 an hour, then it is administrative, not negotiating contracts. Negotiating contracts does not mean handling the escrow or handling the pending transaction. Handling the pending transaction is important. You got to do it. It's got to be done. But don't confuse that with an income producing activity. All that is servicing income that you have already earned in setting the appointment, getting the listing or the contract signed, and negotiating the terms of the contract. If you have an inspection done, that is not negotiating contracts. Now, if there are repairs to be made and there was a request for repairs, then negotiating that request is negotiating contracts. But driving for 30 minutes one way to get a set of initials on something that has already been talked about is not negotiating contracts. Just want to clarify there. So negotiating contracts is what you have to do to create the next step in the process of getting a deal done, and it is not getting the stuff done. I want to just kind of read you an example here of one of the four key activities negotiating contract. That entails moving the contract down the pipeline to the close. Well, it doesn't. That's transaction coordinating. Okay, negotiating contracts is not moving the contract down the pipeline to the close. Putting out fires as it moves along. Putting out fires typically is administrative. Okay, it is if you got an upset client because they didn't understand something, then that needs to be explained to them. Either you can do it or a transaction coordinator can do it. A lot of times you're going to be doing it. That's called customer service. But ironically, customer service does not make you more money. It's not income producing. It's income servicing. It's customer service. You have to do it. Just don't get confused in thinking that is income producing activity. So I wanted to make that clear and I wanted to make it understandable. Here's another email I just wanted to kind of to do. Today, and I'm not going to tell you who it is because it doesn't matter, but this could be any number of agents. Today I will be spending a few hours getting the changes initialed on the contract, getting the earnest money, and bringing the executed contract to the offices. Okay, that's administrative, guys. That's transaction coordinating. That's a courier. That's something that is a $12 an hour job. Yeah, and then have two listings that are within a week or two to close and have last minute things I need to get for them. Well, getting stuff for your clients is administrative. Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying that's not going to pay your bills. Okay, what are you doing to go generate new leads, to follow up on those leads, to set appointments, to go get contracts signed and negotiate those contracts? That's what income producing activities are. That's what makes you money. The other stuff is important. Don't misunderstand. It's very, very important, but don't think that's going to make you more money. That's converting and servicing money that you have already earned and doing the hard stuff, which is lead generating, lead follow-up, going on appointments, and negotiating the contracts. Because my question is, if you keep doing that all the way to the bitter end, till it closes, What have you been doing to generate the next lead and the next listing and the next sale and the next closing and the next paycheck? That's the key to income producing activities. So pay attention to what makes you money and what services money you've already made. Play to win.